Forget the golden throne and the untouchable king. Long before Zeus ruled the universe, he was an outcast, hiding in the dark to avoid being hunted. The universe he was born into belonged to his father, the Titan Cronus. It was a regime defined by absolute control and a universal fear of the reigning tyrant. This summary outlines the origin of that fear. Cronus was told he would be overthrown by his own son. To prevent that prophecy, Cronus took a horrific path. He swallowed his children at birth, trapping his family inside his body. This is Mount Ida on the island of Crete. It was here that Zeus's mother, Rhea, smuggled her youngest son to a secret nursery, hiding him from Cronus, while offering the Titan a stone wrapped in blankets instead. But even the remote mountainside wasn't safe enough. Zeus was moved deep into the Dictyon cave, growing up underground in the shadows to stay out of his father's sight. With the older generation trapped or terrified, the universe had no leadership. The only hope for a different future was an exiled infant living in a hole in the ground. As he matured in secret, Zeus discovered he could command the atmosphere itself. He learned to draw immense electrical energy directly from the air, manifesting his terrifying new power through incredibly violent storms. He took that power and confronted Cronus directly. With the help of the earth goddess Gaia, Zeus forced his father to regurgitate the siblings he had swallowed years before. Zeus reached into his father's stomach to pull his siblings back into the light, performing the duties of a brother before he ever took the mantle of a king. Freeing his family was a necessary first step, but it wasn't a total victory. Zeus realized that as long as the Titans held the levers of power, his siblings would never truly be safe. The result was the Titanomachy. For 10 years, the younger Olympians fought the older Titans in a war that leveled mountains and filled the sky with fire. The challenges only grew more extreme. The earth produced Typhon, a multi-headed monster so massive that even the other gods fled in terror at its approach. Zeus stood his ground, pushing his command over lightning to its limit to strike Typhon down and bury the monster beneath the weight of a mountain. Zeus didn't end the chaos through negotiation. He buried it. He established himself as the final arbiter of cosmic law by physically overpowering every challenger who stood in his way. This statue captures the new hierarchy. Zeus sat on the highest peak of Olympus, holding the scepter as the supreme ruler of a universe he had personally reorganized. To the outside world, Olympus represented a golden age of stability. The wars were over, the monsters were gone, and the gods finally had a home. But absolute rule is isolating. Behind the gold and marble, the throne room was silent. Zeus was the king of everything, yet he had no one he could treat as an equal. He had conquered the external threats to his reign, but he couldn't conquer his own mind. The same paranoia that had destroyed his father began to take root in the new king. The fates eventually confirmed his fears, with a prophecy identical to the one Cronus received. A child born of his line would one day rise up and overthrow him. Zeus mimicked his father's cruelty. He tricked his pregnant wife, Medes, into becoming a fly and swallowed her whole, hoping to end the threat before it could be born. The act failed to provide peace. Medes began forging armor inside his head, causing agony so intense that Zeus had to have his skull split open to allow his daughter Athena to emerge. His actions toward others became increasingly cold. To hide his own infidelity, he transformed a woman named Io into a beast, leaving her to be hunted and tormented across the world while he watched from his throne. The man who began his life hiding in a cave to escape a tyrant had spent his reign becoming one. To maintain his order, he sacrificed the very people he claimed to protect. This need for control eventually turned against humanity. As mortals learned to build and think for themselves, Zeus viewed their independence as a threat to his supremacy. This sculpture shows his response to human progress. When Prometheus gave fire to humanity, Zeus chained him to a rock and sent an eagle to tear out his liver every day for eternity. Zeus kept the crown and his immortality, but he ruled an empty hall. Every hand he reached for trembled in fear, and every voice he heard was a lie told for self-preservation. Zeus spent his life fighting to avoid his father's fate, only to end up exactly like him, a king who rules everything, but can trust no one. It leaves us with a question. If you had the power to change the world, would you be able to give that power up once the job was done? Or would you start seeing everyone as a threat to the peace you built? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more of the truth behind the myths, like the video and subscribe for more.